If you're a high achiever stuck in the hustle, then sooner or later you're likely to hit a plateau or burnout, or both. And I know that because I did both, but that doesn't need to happen to you too. This video will help you to step over the Rubicon from stressed out hustle to effortless success. But the very first step that you have to take is allowing yourself to do it. That was the biggest hurdle for me, and it's not one that I passed the first time around. I used to regularly work 36 hours on the trot because I didn't think I could slow down without losing everything I'd built, but doing that literally killed my business and damn near killed me too. Within 18 months of winning a prestigious business award, I was diagnosed with a life-threatening condition that left me bedridden for 5 years. Like all high achievers, I was always awesome at taking action. I still am, but now I take action towards my goals rather than away from my fears. So let me explain. Back in the day, I was under the influence of imposter syndrome and terrified that everything that I was working for would vanish overnight. So I kind of adopted Dory's mantra from Finding Nemo, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming. I figured that if I just kept going, if I kept pushing, if I kept working harder and longer, then everything had to be okay, right? I ignored my body's call for rest and sleep, and I constantly worked through the exhaustion. And part of that work was going out to really fancy networking events and brunch meetings at Soho House and the like. And I think that my first inkling that something wasn't right was getting this incredible invitation. And instead of being thrilled by it, I felt awful. And then I felt guilty for feeling awful. And then I felt really ungrateful, which just compounded the pressure. At the time, I couldn't really understand why the success and recognition that I'd worked so hard for wasn't enough to make me feel successful or happy. But what I know now is that my happiness and feeling successful didn't stand a chance because my self-concept hadn't caught up with the success that I'd achieved. In my head, I was both not far enough along because I still wasn't satisfied with my success, and I knew that there was so much more available to me that I just couldn't seem to get to. But because of the fraudulent feelings of imposter syndrome, I also felt more successful than I should be. And those are obviously two opposing views, which caused cognitive dissonance. So I was always in this state of high stress. So let me know in the comments if you can relate to this, because it's a really, really weird one, right? But because that became my normal way of being, anytime I tried to slow down or take a break and let my stress levels reduce a bit, my body just tensed up and it didn't feel safe. My mind would race with all the things that I should be doing. My sympathetic nervous system was fully locked on, it was fully engaged at all times, which I guess makes perfect sense as to why I threw up for 5 years, as I didn't allow the rest and digest state of my parasympathetic nervous system to ever get a look in. So how do you start to give yourself permission to relax a bit before it completely shuts you down and throws you in bed for 5 years like mine did to me? Well, you need to train your nervous system that rest is allowed and that it's safe. So start with just 5 minutes of deep breathing, yeah? In for the count of 5 and out for the count of 5. And notice that in those 5 minutes you survived. If it feels a little panicky, don't worry. Allow those feelings to just be there, yeah? You can say to yourself, there's a sense of panic in my body and I am safe. Don't attach any kind of story to the panic and try not to dismiss those feelings either. Just acknowledge them and let them be felt. You're experiencing something quite unusual for you right now, so those feelings are trying to protect you. You can think of them as a tiny part of you clinging desperately to what it knows. And what it knows is the reality that you've been living up until now. And that's that you've just got to keep working. This is your tiny Dory who's got to keep swimming, yeah? So don't squash poor Dory. Just let her know that she's done a great job in keeping you safe, but you're stepping in now. Big you is stepping in now. And then as you breathe a little longer, you'll notice that you don't feel as panicky anymore, because that emotion was seen and heard and felt, so it doesn't need to stick around anymore. You didn't attach any kind of story to the emotion as to why panic was being experienced in your body, so the emotion could just pass through. And without a story to keep it active, it passes in about 90 seconds. As soon as you notice that your body is feeling less tense, less panicky, then you can say to yourself, oh, there's a sense of ease in my body and I am safe. This teaches your nervous system that it is safe for you to be still. You're also teaching your default mode network that you're somebody who chooses to experience ease. The private clients I work with know that their next level of success can't be found through more hustle. They've kind of ridden that horse as far as it will go. But they also know that they haven't nearly reached their full potential, and they're not willing to compromise on their ambition, and they shouldn't do, and neither should you. So your next level of leadership or entrepreneurial growth is found through working in a different way. And that's through working with the natural laws of the universe, through listening to your intuition and allowing your success to unfold rather than forcing it to happen. But you're not going to be able to do that when you're stuck in hustle and survival, because you can't hear your inner wisdom unless you stop moving for a minute. So practice finding safety in the stillness and understand that your little human has all the support they need if they allow themselves to accept it. Like I say, I know that this first step feels massive, and if you've been brought up to believe that you're only worthy when you're working, then it's going to feel that much bigger. But you're the only one that can take this step, and you are an amazing human. You are used to taking big, bold steps. This is a step that is not beyond your reach. And to begin with, it doesn't need to be a leap. Just a tiny step will get you there. How does that version of you think and behave? Taking tiny actions that will align with that version of you will reinforce that self-concept within your DMN, and it will prime your reticular activating system to notice all the ease-filled opportunities that you get to live with. This is the neuroscience of manifestation. Now, if you've got any questions about this, please put them in the comments and I promise to respond. And if you'd like to carry on this conversation, then please join me in my free school community. Inside, you'll also find my free 14-day mini course that will really help you to ditch the hustle and create aligned success and lasting happiness. You'll find all the links you need in the description. I also recommend you watching my previous video, which shares the 3 core areas to focus on and the 7-step manifestation loop, which will help you to manifest everything that you want. I look forward to seeing you in my community, and if I don't, well, just know that you're ready, and this is where it begins. I'll see you next time. Bye.